Have you ever had that dream where you're trying to take your business remote and it's super confusing, but then you hear a Vonage ad for their team of remote business experts that you can just call and they can put a whole plan together so your business can easily work from anywhere? And on top of that, they can even sort you out with a video API that you can use to build video into your apps and websites? Have you ever had that dream? Well, now it's an actual real thing that you can do. You don't need to get into REM sleep anymore to make your business communication dreams come true. All you need to do is call Vonage. Now we're talking.
Hi everyone, this is Joe Riggio, your host of Socially Joe, and I want to welcome you to episode 11. In this episode, I have my guest, Liza Marie from Now Production, or now, I had it right there, but it's Now Publishing. So basically, I'm going to turn it over to Liza Marie right now to give her a little bit about a description of herself, and then she's going to tell us a little bit about why we should write our books now and not wait until later. So Liza Marie, welcome to the show, and I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Joe. I'm so excited to speak with you again and to be on your podcast. So yes, my name is Liza Marie Garcia, and I am currently the COO of a team called Now Publishing. We are rounding past our 4 years. We're headquartered in Tampa Bay, downtown, but we have authors nationally. This is my second venture with the startup, and I just love what we're doing. And I'm excited to talk about how writing a business book really can help boost your business and why you should take advantage of the time now.
Awesome. Yep. And I totally agree with you 100%. So that kind of goes into the first question that you kind of mentioned. But what is the urgency of writing a book right now, if you can describe that to us in such a way?
For sure. Well, first of all, I think most of us might have even heard or read or listened to this idea that there's going to be a lot of books that are going to come out of this time period, right? I mean, a lot of people have a lot of extra time on their hands to not only read books, but to write books. Of course, being in the publishing industry, we're really excited about this time because we are getting many clients and potential authors reaching to us. But, you know, what is the most significant to us as a team here? And we talk about this in our internal meetings weekly, is that if we know anything that we're faced with in this time that's right in front of us every day as we wonder about the uncertainty of when we're going to be back to, quote, whatever normal looks like, we know that life is perilous and change is inevitable and we're not guaranteed tomorrow. So what we talk about as a team is our mission at Now Publishing is to get people writing. Really, that is our mission statement, is to publish the voice of purpose. So why we think it's so important today to write a book is because we don't know what will happen tomorrow, and a lot of people put off dreams and goals. There's always next year. They say they always say things like someday, I'll do this. So we really want to encourage people to make the someday now and take advantage of this change in their life.
Awesome. So I know you kind of mentioned and briefly about it with the thing that we're dealing with right now, which is COVID-19. So you can kind of give us a little insight, a little bit more about why have you seen like more of an interest of people trying to write more books really fast right now at this point, trying to get their words out? Or if you could just kind of elaborate a little bit on that.
Sure. Well, before COVID-19 and all this happened, when I would speak to business groups and networking and events, I would typically say the statement that we're in the content age. And that's true. That was true before and true even more now, meaning that as we know, what are we doing? We're on social media to read other people's content, right? We're, searching for videos to learn from. We're searching for online courses to learn. It's content. So before this happened, we were already in the age of content. But now since this has happened, we're hungry. The publishing industry during this time is trying to publish and produce as many books as fast as they can. And it makes sense. People are hungry to listen to audiobooks, to download ebooks, and to read books because of the extra time. So we're definitely in this, I call it accelerated, time of content, and it's important. Making the importance of you publishing your own content is really should be paramount, because if you don't publish your own content, someone else will. or you will be misunderstood from the content that's out there if you're not the one originating it. So it's significant for sure at this time.
Nice. That's very good to know. So in what way can writing a book gain anyone new clients?
Right. Well, we specialize in two types of books. One is called your business brand book, and then the other type of book is a passion book. And just to briefly talk about the passion book, because that, to be honest, we just brought on, I think, 7 people on an online course, and I think all of them are passion books. So again, I think it's sign of the time. You know, people that write a passion book, what they're doing is they're writing something that is on their heart, that they feel like they want to share with the world. They want to help other people. They, want to make a difference. So that's a passion book. But the other type of book, and before COVID-19, we actually had more business brand books that we wrote than passion books, is a business book that will bring clients to you. So you might have heard it be said, Joe, where people say, your book is the new business card. That's 100% true. The instant credibility that you get when you say, I am, let's just take an example. I am in the plumbing business and I have been in it for 25 years and I have such expertise in that marketplace that I actually wrote a book. That credibility that solidifies itself in your business brand book. I'm going to be different than, 20 and 30 other plumbers in my same area to that client, because I'm going to be that 1 out of 20 or 30 that wrote a book. So there's, we have this document called 10 Ways to Be an Author and How It Will Boost Your Business. We have 10 different ideas there, but I'll tell you that we've seen it over and over and have clients that have said, my sales cycle might be 6 months, but they met with me. I'm a realtor, and they met with me. They interviewed other people, and they had my book in their car. They remembered my name. They called me. They read a chapter. They liked it. They thought, this gal knows what she's doing. I'm going to give her a chance. So it's just kind of a couple ideas there.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you 100% on that. I've actually met a few people that have books of their own out, and most of them say the same thing you just mentioned. It's a credibility item that you can say, I'm a published author, I've wrote about this topic, and I wished for you to read and learn more about what I do. So that way, that person has that item in them, in their hand. And basically, business cards come and go. I hate to say it, but some cards just get thrown in the trash as soon as someone gets them after when they import it into a CRM, and then they forget about it. But a book is something relevant that could be, sitting on a shelf, sitting on a desk, sitting on a coffee table where someone can pick it up and look at it at a different time.
Well, exactly. And one thing I was going to say, someone asked me this just the other day, how can you guarantee that we'll get clients, from this book? And first of all, because of the fact that we have business book authors, I have a couple. I have a female and a male that came out in October last year. And those are always the first that come to my mind, because both of those clients, one's in Washington, D.C., one is here in Florida State. I just welcome people, I'll tell potential clients, hey, call them, and they'll just go on and on forever about this client or that client and this client. But here, so someone asked me, how can you guarantee that my business brand book will give me clients? Well, I'll tell you one thing that I can guarantee. I can guarantee that with a well-written business brand book and with us putting the author out in a speaking event, that's an entire network that you normally wouldn't be affecting had it not been for the fact that now you're a speaker, author, and you can, tell who you are. And so it really is where, those of us in digital marketing or in marketing in general these days, a lot of it is about how can I get in front of people that wouldn't normally listen to me or under, I would be introduced to. So that's another way that a book opens doors and puts you in places and in front of people that you would not normally be a part of. And we found lots of success with that.
That's great. And I totally agree with you 100%. So the main question is, and maybe you can answer this a little bit more, but why don't more people write books?
Right. I think there's two things that we hear, and one of them we're overcoming. The first thing that we hear over and over with potential authors or people that are on the fence on writing is they say, where will I find the time? Right? When do I have time to write? And so that objection has been softened a little bit around what we're all in seclusion now for. However, what we still say is, as we all know, is we're binge watching and things, and I'm the first one to raise my hand that I have been wasting some of my time binge watching. But you still, although we have the time, you still have to be very disciplined to make a schedule. And what we encourage our potential authors to do is do something called butt in chair, BIC, honestly. And we say, okay, yeah, I know, I don't know if that's the most appropriate way to say it, but it is what we call it. And we say 4 hours per chapter. And we say, put that BIC time in your calendar. Put it on wherever you need to, on your whiteboard, on your mirrors, and you say on Thursday at 11 o'clock, I am BIC, and I will write, sit down, do not leave my chair, and finish the chapter. So the first thing, as I said, we try to get over is that I don't have time. The other objection, that people will have with us is they'll say, I just can't write a book. It seems like this unsurmountable mountain to climb. I never thought of myself as a published author. It just seems like it's just an incredible feat, and how could I do it? So what we've tried to do in our company is really just take it step by step and walk the author through it, build the book from the ground up, and then publish it. And to be honest, there's so much out there now in terms of YouTube's. I mean, I'm a mom, so I go to YouTube's for anything that I can't answer to them, and we take a look. But that everyone should write a book, can write a book, and if the last type of book or one of the types of books we have sometimes for people that say, I don't want to be on Amazon, I don't want to publish and sell my book, but I'd like to leave a legacy. We have a book series that we do, legacy lessons, where we have people, we ask them the questions that they would like their family members to know when they're here on earth and when they're gone. It's just important, I think, again, to leave your real content to the world, if not for just your loved ones, for whoever you choose.
And I totally agree with you 100% with the main thing is time, because that is one issue that I have all the time is time. But I love your acronym that you do have to schedule some time to write, have to write these things down. But if I can elaborate a little bit more on time, how do you find is the best way for someone to start putting their notes down? Is it easier to just like brain dump like little things at a day on a notebook and then you add it up later? Or I've heard people use like micro mini recorders where they recorded themselves, or dragon speech to and put these items in. And what is the format that you're seeing a lot more of?
Right. Well, I'll tell you, to be honest, we started a program in January, and they were our business brand book authors. And for the majority of them, like 80% of them are doing like the dragon speech to text. They work with us where they'll call us on the telephone and just download the information. So that's kind of the shortcut, easy way to start recording or start writing a book. But I want to go back a step, because I think that this step is the most important to start writing. And I thought this is where you're going, and I think it might have been what you were asking as well. The most important part to start writing your book is to plan properly and to lay the right foundation. Now, we have something that we call a mind map outline planning tool. Basically, how we start is the mind map that focuses on one question. And the question is, what is my central idea and theme? And then if you're a person that does mind maps, that's in the middle of your circle. And then the spokes in the mind map that are all around like a sun, right, are all the different topics and subtopics that feed in to that central idea and theme. And what happens is we believe that books are not well constructed when we don't finish reading them. So we all have books in our home that we've started, in our car, wherever, that we've started, and they didn't keep our interest. They went on a rabbit hole somewhere. They weren't the book that we thought, and it was because all of their topics and subtopics did not feed into the central idea and theme. And we see it all the time when we're editing books with our authors, where it might be a very interesting topic they're talking about, but it does not at all have to do with the central idea and theme. So it's really important. And again, I encourage listeners here, Google mind maps and Google outlines, but you really have to have a very strong outline that captures your 10 chapters, which is typically the average size of a book, that captures your 10 chapters, and then start writing once you feel secure and good about your outline.
That's great. And you did answer my question. I think you kind of hinted to the next question or answer to the question that you can probably incorporate, but with mind mapping. But does everyone have enough to say in order to write a book, in a sense? Because I'm sure the mind mapping will help that.
Right. Now, exactly. We met with some 20-somethings that came in, and frequently they would say, I don't know if I've lived long enough. I don't know if I have enough content. And every single time they've had more than enough. And really everyone does. There are many times we'll hear potential authors say, well, I think that my topic there's 100 books on that topic. And probably there is. Maybe there's even 10,000 books. It's crazy, today with the self-publishing craze, right? I think it's something like every 5 minutes an ebook is uploaded. I mean, it's just as crazy as how many YouTubes are uploaded every 5 minutes. But how we feel is this: first of all, what's old is new, and new is old, and it really depends on, just like we have all these TV channels to watch, it really depends on what catches your interest at the time. So there's always room for new books for sure, and more room for those books that are unique. And as far as a person having enough content to be unique, well, we believe everyone does, because of the fact that all of us are unique. I mean, even if we go through exactly the same circumstance, I mean, this is a good example right now. We're all secluded. We all need to wear masks. We all, aren't supposed to, see, be around humans in a close proximity, but we're all experiencing a million different, feelings and adjustments related to that, although we're going through the same thing. So part of what we do, and I think, part of a writing coach or a ghostwriting company or whoever you might work with, or even your friends and family, would be to help you extract all that's in you. And definitely, yes, we believe everyone has enough content and enough experience to write a book.
Okay. Well, that was really elaborate. I liked it, because that was one of the things that I had issues with, and I think I had talked to you in a previous phone conversation, which I've also talked to a couple other people too, is where I talk about, I can come up with the skeleton of the book and the outline of what I want to do, but I can give you X amount of content, but I don't know if I have enough to fill up a chapter. Is there someone to give me the meat and potatoes and fluff it up a little bit, in a sense?
Right.
So with that, due to your background with the 2 startup companies, how do you feel about our business economy at the moment?
Right. Oh my gosh. Good question. I'll date myself a little bit, but I think part of the perspective of being, sometimes I hate to say it, but I've been self-employed, as I think I told you, I'm a former tech CEO from Seattle. I started a company when I was 27. So although I'd like to not admit it, I've been basically, working for myself and supporting other people as employees and such for a very long time. And part of that experience has shown me how we've, weathered through it. Meaning that I remember going through Y2K, and we did not get new clients until August of that year. And it just so happened, it was 1999, right? Just so happened that my husband and I put a huge amount of money down on a home at the beginning of that year. So it wasn't like the best, not knowing that was going to be Y2K, but actually we ended up having one of our best years from August to the end of the year. I've also been through the .com craziness, and then the .com bust, and then of course recession. When we, in our tech company, when we went through recession, we were left standing. Yes, we definitely had a huge decrease in employees, but we remained in business. And what we did is we shifted into the vertical market of medical. And, that was still booming at the time. And so we were fine. And so I guess for me, I've seen, the ups and downs and the ebbs and flows, and even, the stock market up and down, and the losses that happened during recession during that time were huge, just like they have been huge right now. It's given good perspective. So, and then it goes without saying that I'm very blessed and grateful that our publishing industry is not brick and mortar dependent. We're not Barnes and Noble and had to close our doors. In fact, we had an author here that had 3 she just did a book signing at Barnes & Noble in Brandon, and she actually had 3 more events. And actually just a couple of days ago, she emailed our team saying, is my, Barnes & Noble signing, I think it was the 25th or something of April, still on? And we said, no retail, signings are on. So, definitely we're positive, and I would, put it out there to be positive, and just remember, as fellow business people and professional people, what's down will come up, and that things can change, and you hope you change for the better. And that is what we're trying to do here. Our team is working heavily in digital marketing, which is where we needed to be anyway, but due to these extra hours and, extra time that we've got, we get to focus that way. But, just that advice of perspective. We'll all be okay. Yep.
Yeah, and I loved how you talked about the different eras that you were in, the .com, the Y2K, and the recession, because I will show my age. I was there with those as well. And each one was very different, difficult in certain facets of mindsets of people. But I think with today's thing, with COVID-19, people are really concerned about, shopping, about everything in the world. And, I don't think writing a book is at that moment for most people's mindset. They're like, I want toilet paper instead of reading a book, which they should be doing now.
Right.
So, but that's besides the point. So do you think everyone should write a book at this time?
I think everyone should have an outlet for their creativity, and just an outlet really in general. If it's journaling, if it's typing on a computer, if it's, trying to create, if you're creating audio memos, if it's YouTubes, if it's videos. I mean, to be honest, that's an area where, I am not doing my normal, physical, like I'm a tennis player and I like to play pickleball, and I don't like to go to the gym necessarily, or just go out and run by myself. So I need that. I know I need that physical outlet. And I believe that all of us need a creative outlet. And so, yes, I think that even if you say this is some writings for my great granddaughters someday, write it down, write your family history down for a legacy, write something that you're really proud of as an accomplishment, just to give yourself some positivity and, pat yourself on the back. Or write down your business practices. If you're a business person and there's an area that you haven't documented and you keep saying, I should do that, I should write the manual, I should update the employee manual, I should, write my vision and values of our team here, go for it. I think it would prove positive in a good way.
Nice. So what is one of the best parts of your job as a publisher? If you were to, say, this is the coup de grace, this is why I became the publisher.
Oh, I love that. So my most favorite thing about being in the publishing industry is I get to sit down. Well, actually now I get to Zoom people that I've never met before, that I know nothing about, that tell me about their tremendous life story. Honestly, I sometimes I've been in calls that were just conference calls without the video, and honestly, I'm on mute because my mouth is open, or it might hit me emotionally, and then and to be honest, I have sat down with 3 people in the last 3.5 years, maybe 4 at the most, but somewhere between 3 and 4 years, I've sat down with 3 people, listening to their story, telling me that they want to write a book, telling me they're going to write a book, and they all passed away before their time. And it really is, and I don't mean, I'm talking about the happiest part of my job, but what I love about it is that I'm blessed to meet these people that have incredible stories. And not all of them, of course, have published a book with us, but many have. And I just think that I'm so blessed to get that to be part of my job.
Nice. So we are coming up on the 2-minute marker. So at this point in time, I like to give my listeners a chance to hear how they can get in touch with you. So if you want to say what kind of medium that you want to be contacted through, email, phone, website, now's your chance. So go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much. All right. Well, we are now publishing. And if you want to see a little bit more about what we do, you can always search us at #NowPublishing. And we have a phone number is 888-5069-NOW. It's one of those vanity numbers. Or you can email us at publish at nowscpress.com. Publish it now, scpress.com. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to hear